everybody, this is Rory here again from New Zealand Dream Cars and Exotics. Today we're out in the Lotus. Just thought I'd take a little bit of a cruise and just give you a bit of a rundown on this car. Hopefully the video is not too shaky, and I apologise for that if it is. So at the moment we're just cruising underneath Auckland's Harbour Bridge, or we're about to go under the Harbour Bridge, and I'll pull over in a minute and we'll do a bit of a demo and kind of go over what this car really is, and what's inside, what's under the bonnet, and yeah. So starting off, it was imported in New Zealand a few years ago. It is originally from Japan, and that's just the way it goes sometimes with cars, and especially in New Zealand we have a lot of cars imported from Japan. This one had done around 80,000 Ks when it was in, and it's at 89,000 at the moment. When I bought it, I had all the cam belt, water pump, basically all the servicing done, and what else was it done? New clutch and basically a few other bits and pieces here and there. So since I've had it, I've done a few different things, coils, bit of things with the exhaust, a few other things with the turbos, and just working on or the turbo I should say, and just working on boost and just making it run as well as it should. I'll give you a demo on what it is, what's under the bonnet. I'll give you a bit of a rundown. Hopefully you can see a little bit closer what it is that's underneath. Okay, so we'll go for a drive. Talk a little bit more about the Lotus. This particular one has had quite a few modifications done. It's running about 1.2 bar of boost, which is quite a lot for this car. It's a 4-cylinder single turbo. It has full extractors off the turbo. What else? It has all upgraded ignition. It has been chipped. It's running around, I would say, about 300, just over 300 horsepower, maybe a little bit more. It does give you quite a kick when you take off, so it's really tough. I will get it on the dyno at some point soon, just to give people a bit of an idea about how fast, and just so actually I know, to be honest, because I'm not sure. I do know that it is a heck of a lot more power than a standard one, and it definitely shows it when you take off. It even sounds like it. I'll just do a bit. So for me, Lotus was something that I first fell in love with when I was a little kid. I saw one of these cars when I was probably about 10 or 11, I think. And since then I loved them. It was definitely a car that I've always wanted to own. It was on the bucket list, and recently, earlier this year, I managed to buy one, which is this one. So yeah, I've loved it since I've had it, and it's just been an awesome car. I probably won't sell it. It's one of those things where I'll hold on to it until I can't drive anymore, and then hopefully it'll go off to kids, or a kid of mine, who knows. So what else do we want to talk about? It's very, very low, this car. As you can tell, it's being a Lotus. It's one of those type of cars that is quite hard to get around in traffic. Sometimes when you go over speed bumps, it can be quite hard to get around. It does scrape a lot, hence why we're probably going to scrape on it. It's mostly the front, because it does have a big long nose on it, and I mean that being the case, it can be a little bit hard to get around, but you know what I mean. definitely wake up when you drive it. So yeah. This particular Lotus has got adjustable suspension. Like I said, it is lowered quite a lot. It's running on different wheels than it was from standard, so it's got 18s on it, 265s at the back and two 115s on the front. Kind of maximum for the front with this car, because it doesn't have power steering or ABS, so it makes it quite difficult to drive at times, especially when you're trying to park it, which can be fun. They do say when you drive these cars that you don't, you know, when you're driving, you've got to be very careful with things like basically trying to steer or do steering when it's not moving, because you can actually damage the steering rack on these quite easily. Mostly because they are very lightweight, and everything on the car is very lightweight. Needless to say, it is a pretty awesome car, and I do really love driving it. It's very loud. It has a 3-inch exhaust straight off the turbo pretty much, so that definitely helps with the noise, and with the boost you can hear the turbo wind up quite easily. Inside the car, it doesn't have a stereo at the moment. I've had to remove it because I'm doing some changes to the inside. It has basically it's quite a nice interior. Like, it has walnut dash and original walnut dash, which is very cool. It has a few cracks here and there, but for me it doesn't really bother me too much. It's one of those things where you kind of love it, and it is what it is, you know. So what else can I say? This car it's an 89, I believe. It's when I looked at the VIN number on this car, it is the 5th one out of the factory of the SEs, which is it's a turbo special edition, or SE, sorry, special equipment, not special edition. So the SE does stand for special equipment, which basically means that in 89.5 or 89, May of 89, they changed the engine on these and actually added a charge cooler, which made the car basically increase the horsepower, the standard horsepower, up to 260-ish horsepower from, I think they were around low 200s at when they first came out, the first two turbos. So, you know, it was quite a big increase for these cars, and that being said, it definitely helped get you know, into supercar status. I find you get a lot of attention in this car when you drive it around, so I don't drive it too much, mostly because, I don't know, you don't see many of these cars around, and especially in New Zealand there's only a few of them, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. The car itself is fully fiberglass. It has a full fiberglass body, and it has basically the body goes down onto a frame, like a chassis that's all tubular, and so it's kind of like it's almost like a boat in a way. Like, it has a bulkhead, and yeah, it's kind of cool, and it's definitely different. It's not a normal type of car. It's basically got a racing chassis, all tubular all tubular frames, and then the engine bolts into the frame, and then the whole body goes down on top of the frame as well. It's bolted on, so it's quite different. Not many cars are fiberglass these days, and actually not many cars have pop-up lights these days either, so this is one of them. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we're just going to take off, head back now. It's been out for a little bit of a drive. Given the car, the thing is with this car is that you do actually have to use it a bit. It gets a little bit temperamental, to be honest, if you don't use it very much, and it can be one of those things where if you really do have to let it warm up properly. You can't just start it and go. It does cause grief. The car doesn't really like just being started and run, you know what I mean, and then driving, because it really does play up if you don't let it warm up properly. But that being said, once it is warmed up, it's very cool. It's very fun to drive. It can be very rewarding. It loves the road. It loves windy roads. It just really does always put a smile on my face when I'm driving it. Alright, so what I'm actually looking for at the moment, I'm actually, because I do have a couple of cars that are actually coupes. I don't actually have a 4-door, so at the moment I'm actually on the hunt for a new car. If you guys have any suggestions of types of 4-door cars that you would get, what would your recommendations be? It'd be nice to actually get some feedback from viewers and just to see what they think I should get. I've been looking at a few things, Audis, Mitsubishis, maybe even an Evo, I'm not sure. Something turbo definitely, or even a V8. I'd love to get one of the B7 RS4s, maybe just as a family wagon, you know what I mean? So your suggestions, if you can, they'll be really good. Write them in the comments below, and we can go from there. Maybe I'll choose one of the best ones, and then you know, we'll do a video on that. It'll be quite different, and then just, yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, well, thanks for watching today. Hope you've enjoyed the little trip with the Lotus. I always enjoy driving it. It's quite loud and quite fast at points. It's definitely not a slow car, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to doing another video with you guys soon. Hopefully it's a new video, a video on my next car, or a new car that I'm, you know, the next car that I'm looking at getting, and then, you know, we can do a guess to see what it is that I end up buying. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Rory here again from Dream Cars and Exotics New Zealand. Stay tuned for lots of future videos, and make sure you subscribe. It's, you know, I do plan on doing quite a lot more of these videos, and there will be a lot more videos with other friends of mine who have lots of nice cars as well, and a lot of performance cars. So definitely tune in, stay tuned, and I'll catch you later.